Hi, and welcome to TU Tee Hee. I'm Sara Moore.
And I'm Avery Jamerson.
So, Avery, we were talking off camera about musicals and musical theater. Tell me about some of your favorite shows.
I am a big musical theater nerd. So when I was young, we would do Dallas Summer Musicals, and so I saw a bunch. And so one of the first ones I saw was Wicked when I was younger.
That was my that was my second musical I saw in like the 5th grade. I saw it at the Tulsa PAC. I saw Lion King before that, but yes.
I think Lion King was like the other one that I saw when I was really young.
Good.
I don't remember it though, because I have been arguing with my mom for like years about if I actually saw it or not.
Or if you made it up.
I have no recollection of seeing it, but she swears that we wouldn't saw it, so I don't know.
She's a liar.
But I know, that's what I'm saying. I also saw Newsies. That one was really good.
I watched that one, like the movie of it,
It's so
whatever
good. And the soundtrack
is
so, oh my gosh.
It's really fun.
It's very shower, like, concert material for me personally. Living in an apartment, maybe not so much, but when I was at home, like, my parents were so done. They were so tired of me singing that, like, Defying Gravity, like, just some like the big musical hits. But, I mean, that's just what I gravitated towards. I was a big shower singer.
Are you a fan of the opera girly? Because I think that's also peak shower musical theater
I love
songs.
Phantom of the Opera. I was like super obsessed with it in middle school, and I did art, and I would be drawing and just listening to the soundtrack. So
I love it. That's so
that
fun.
was fun.
Okay, well, that's all we have time for with musical theater today, but we'll see you guys here in a bit.
Good evening, Tulsa, and welcome to the news. My name is Hunter Lynn.
And I'm Bruce Bigler. Happy first day of October, as well as happy National Balloon Day. This week has held all sorts of large events and large types of different... I don't know why that just did not happen. Keep rolling.
Like a balloon, these events have been inflated. Let's get right into it.
So true, Hunter. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this week's stories. Conflicts between Israel and the Lebanese militia Hezbollah has escalated in the past week. Last Friday, an Israeli airstrike on the Lebanese capital, Beirut, killed Hassan Nasrallah, who had led Hezbollah since 1992. Earlier this month, thousands were injured and at least 42 killed when pagers used by Hezbollah exploded. Israel is largely believed to be behind the device explosions, although it has not claimed responsibility. Airstrikes on Lebanon have continued through the weekend, and Israeli troops have deployed to the Lebanese border in preparation for a possible ground attack. On Sunday, in response to the rocket attacks from the Houthi military organization in Yemen, Israel struck the city of Hodeidah on Yemen's east coast. The attacks come as Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza approaches its one-year anniversary. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ignored repeated calls for an end to hostilities in the conflict. Similarly, U.S. calls for a 21-day ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah have thus far been ignored by both parties.
5 days ago, Hurricane Helene made landfall as a Category 4 major hurricane in Florida's Big Bend region. Helene brought historic flooding to the southeastern U.S. and caused an estimated $100 billion in damages. After forming from a tropical depression in the Caribbean Sea, Helene underwent rapid intensification, reaching Category 4 status a little over a day after becoming a hurricane. Helene made landfall near the town of Perry, Florida, near its peak strength, moving north and entering Georgia as a Category 2 storm. Atlanta experienced its most rainfall over a 48-hour period on record, leading the city to announce a flash flood emergency for the first time. Damage from the storm closed hundreds of roads in North Carolina, where over 400,000 people were without electricity on Sunday. Buncombe County, home to Asheville, North Carolina, has seen at least 57 deaths so far. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster has called the damage from Helene, quote, a devastating blow.
Exit polls in Austria indicate the Freedom Party won the largest share of the vote in Sunday's general election. The FPO, led by Herbert Kickl, nearly doubled its vote share to about 30%, winning 56 of the National Council's 183 seats. The election marks the first time a far-right party has won an election in Austria since World War II. The FPO was founded as a classical liberal and centrist party, but moved towards the right under Jörg Haider's leadership from 1986 to 2000. The party is largely now described as right-wing populist and advocates Eurosceptic, pro-Russian, and anti-immigration views. Party leader Herbert Kickl supports re-immigration, the forced return of immigrants from European countries to their country of origin, regardless of their citizenship. The FPO is not guaranteed a position in Austria's future government, as the party failed to capture an outright majority in the National Council. Regardless, the FPO's strong showing is characteristic of European elections in recent years, which have seen right-wing parties surge in popularity.
And now, news from around Tulsa. Tulsa experienced its 6th driest September on record this year, as official rainfall was tallied at only 0.32 inches. Still, our city is at a rainfall surplus after receiving nearly 11 inches of rain in May. On Thursday, the Tulsa State Fair officially opened, featuring more than 70 rides and many other attractions, from a wine garden to a pumpkin exhibit. Officials expect long lines at the fair, which drew over 1 million visitors last year. The University of Tulsa rose 16 places in the 2025 U.S. News & World Report college rankings. TU's retention rate last year was 99%, its highest ever. Quote, while many other universities are combating declines in enrollment, research funding, and rankings, we are advancing, end quote, according to Brad Carson. Now, Bruce, as recent developments have shown, Iran today launched a salvo of missiles toward Israel. Israel has vowed retaliation. What do you expect to come of this conflict in the Middle East?
You know, I think from here we're only going to see things escalate until one side eventually the tensions rise so high that one side is able to claim victory. But at this point, I don't think that we're going to see a very peaceful resolution of this conflict with how things are just continuing to escalate.
As you know, unlike the Houthi rebels and Hamas in Yemen and Gaza, respectively, Hezbollah is a militia that was founded originally by and for the purpose of backing Iran. So it's pretty explanatory to see that after the attack by Israel on Hezbollah in Lebanon, Iran would retaliate with a missile strike. Can only hope that tensions decline rather than rising, leading to more civilian and unwanted casualties.
So true. Those are just a few of the large events happening in this world. Be sure to stay tuned in order to keep why can I not talk? Dang it.
It's all right. It happens to everyone.
In order to figure out what will be happening in the coming days. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Adeshola. I'm here to tell you about some of the events around campus you might want to join this week. On Wednesday, October 2nd, the English Graduate Student Association still has another book sale section in the Student Union. Books are $5 or below. Stop by the Union from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. to grab some books at affordable prices. Little Blue House has its free vegetarian lunch today from noon to 1 p.m. Make sure you don't miss it. And at the same time, there's a discussion section hosted by the Henneke Center and Research Office where students explore grant support, collaborative opportunities, or guidance through the research process. The event is in the Great Hall B Student Union. You can scan the QR code to reserve a spot. On Thursday, October 3rd, TU Weasley Foundation has its free lunch from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. TEDxU Tulsa opened its application for a talk this spring 2025. If you have a brilliant insight that is worth sharing, nominate yourself, or if you know someone who has interesting topics to give a talk, nominate them. Scan the QR code for the application forms. The final deadline is October 21st at midnight. AASA and SASA have their general meetings from 5 to 7 p.m. at Chapman Commons, the New U. Bring friends to the event for free food and fun games. From 7 to 9 p.m., there's a soccer game between TU Women's Soccer and East Carolina. Swing by the soccer stadium and cheer for our team. On Friday, October 4th, ISM has its free lunch from noon to 1 p.m. It takes place at the BCM office. Sneak peek of their menu features authentic Indian food, including chole, pora, halwa, and rice. All the food is vegan. The Chinese Students and Scholar Association has its first general body meeting from 4 to 6 p.m. at Mayo Student Activity Center. The event is called Shades of Colors, where they will have paper fans to paint and taste test Chinese fruits. Stop by for the fun and chance to learn about Chinese culture. Studio 151, the podcasting lab, has its meeting at 5 p.m. in Kendall Hall. Join them to discuss any podcast ideas you have or become a guest in any of their existing podcasts. From 6 to 9 p.m. today, it's First Friday Art Crawl at 101 Archer. If you're an art lover, make sure this event is on your calendar. You don't want to miss the fun. And that's all the events I have for you today. Enjoy these events, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey, today I'm here with Logan Bradac, the president of TU Tee Hee Club. Logan, could you tell me a little bit about TU Tee Hee?
TU Tee Hee is a comedy club that was started by a senior last year by the name of Jonathan Rice. Love him to death.
We
man.
love Jono, TU TVer.
Yeah, he founded the club on the principle that he had a comedy club he wanted to join during COVID, but it unfortunately disbanded during that time. So he started up a new one, and since then I've been having to take care of it for him. But really, the overall goal of the club is to spread some joy and love on campus, and really to make people more comfortable on here. It's a very stressful environment, college, working yourself out, all your classes, exams. So it's just nice to have some fun, talk about comedy for a while, things like that.
I love that. It's really cool to hear about it not just being, like a space to, be silly and act, but also a space for everyone to be together and help yourself by, getting to do fun stuff like that. I love that.
Absolutely, yeah. So really our goal is just to give people some it doesn't even have to be you have to perform or something like that. It's also just a place where people can come if they have a passion for comedy or just want to see some comedy shows. I have some possibly events lined up involving going around to local Tulsa comedy clubs. There's a bunch of posters posted up in my work sometimes of comedy and some live shows going on, maybe inviting some people down from the area, just, getting people to enjoy comedy more, even if your brand of comedy is very different from everyone else,
Yeah. So what kind of events do you guys put on, or what are your meetings like? What does it look like to be a member?
Meetings are very very casual. It's not exactly the most formal process. There's a lot of people talking and things like that. When business needs to be said, business needs to be said. But overall, the meetings are very casual. It's very joking, obviously, given self-explanatory. But some of the events we've had in the past were some live comedy shows, like stand-up done. But I plan on doing a couple of other things as well, some improv nights as well. Improv, like I said, going to comedy shows, and I plan on doing a really big, not really big, I would say, but definitely another stand-up night this coming semester.
Yeah, that's exciting. So not just for students to be involved with acting, but also, we want all the students to come out and support and be there in the audience to participate.
Yes, I'm all about having people just even be there. It's better to have comedy, and it's more inviting for comedy if more people are laughing, or more people are there, more people are participating. It's easier to talk and to be more, I guess, comedic, if you will, if you have more people just simply there in the audience.
Yeah, for sure. I'm wondering, there was a couple years ago, I think I was a sophomore, there was a little improv thing that a professor held. So are you going to try to see if you can get any professors involved in your stand-up comedy? Because I know there's a lot of very funny professors on campus that wouldn't really necessarily be willing to do this, but I feel like people could goad them into doing it.
Oh my, I never thought about the fact that a professor probably could be used. I have a lot of funny professors this year. I have one in particular I'm probably thinking of at this current moment I'd like to possibly get in. Now that I hear about this, I'm getting ideas. I'm excited. I never thought about professor participation, but I'm definitely considering it now. Holy crap. Yeah, no.
All my philosophy professors, I tell them all the time that they're kind of comedians. And I'm like, you guys ever do stand-up? And they're like, what are you talking about? But they're all so funny. And so I don't know, I feel like it would be funny to see them attempt to do improv or something. I feel like some of them are goofy enough to do it.
I feel like philosophy professors are just kind of a little bit sarcastic and a little bit, I guess, cynical enough to be very funny. The person I'm thinking of, though, is not a philosophy professor.
Who's the professor you're thinking of? Give us the inside scoop.
Shout out to Dr. John Arnold for making history even that much more better. Geez.
He gets to be counted in my brain as a philosophy professor, even though he's a history guy.
Oh, that dude knows exactly what to say to keep you entertained during classes.
Yeah,
oh
he's
my.
a funny guy.
Very funny. If I could get him, I would.
I wish you luck trying to get them involved. Okay, my last little question for you. Since you guys are a comedy club, I'm wondering, do you have a favorite comedian, or do you have like a suggestion of a special or something that people should watch?
Oh, I have to say, ever since COVID 2020, 2021, been really obsessed with Bo Burnham. I watched that Inside special at least 20 times in my pre-calc class alone.
Oh my God.
It was so boring and so easy that I just was in the back of the class just listening to a guy talk about how depressed he was, basically.
That feels appropriate for doing math.
But I love that special, and I love the outtakes. I can't recommend him more than enough. He's very funny, in my opinion, at least, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the recommendation. I look forward to coming to you guys' events and watching. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Great to meet you.
You know, Hunter, people always say, Joe, you're so funny. Joe, you should do stand-up. And I tell them, well, I just prefer to sit.
Wouldn't we all? I'm Hunter Lynn, joined by Joe McCurdy, and we've got some exciting sports news for you today. Joe, take it away.
We're excited to be back on the desk.
Oh, yeah.
Tulsa football was completely blown out this past Saturday by American Conference opponent North Texas by a score of 52-20. Tulsa's last victory against the Mean Green was in 2011, with last year's meeting ending in a Tulsa loss of 35-28 on a UNT last-minute touchdown. Tulsa had a lead of 3-0 after a promising drive early in the first quarter. The defense held North Texas scoreless for the majority of the first half. With 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, Tulsa allowed a 96-yard catch and run by UNT's Blair Conwright. After that, Tulsa was shut down, allowing 45 unanswered points. Tulsa's next points came with 12 minutes left to go in the fourth after a 45-yard Seth Morgan field goal cut the lead to 42 points. Tulsa would go on to score a touchdown on their last two possessions of the fourth quarter, but it was too little too late for the Golden Hurricane. Now sitting at 2-3 on the season, Tulsa hosts a red-hot Army team that is currently undefeated and outscoring their opponents 145-42.
Tulsa men's soccer had a 2-game road trip this weekend, facing off against the Roos of Kansas City and the Panthers of Florida International. After dropping their previous 2 matches to Creighton and Memphis, Tulsa was looking to add to their win column for the first time since September 1st. In their match against Kansas City, Tulsa totaled 11 shots with 3 shots on goal, while goalkeeper Alex Lopez had 6 saves on the night. The Roos, however, totaled 26 shots, 10 of which were on goal, with 4 shots reaching the back of the net for a 4-0 Kansas City victory. In their Sunday match against FIU, Tulsa got behind early and held a 1-0 deficit going into halftime. With less than 35 minutes remaining in the second half, an FIU player received a red card and Tulsa played the remainder of the game up a man. Ander Bengotea equalized shortly after with a goal assisted by Wes Bottenberg. With the match knotted at 1-1 for the majority of the second half, it looked as if the game would end in a tie. With less than 6 minutes remaining, FIU scored twice, securing a 3-1 victory. Tulsa is now on a 4-game losing streak, with FAU visiting the Tulsa Hurricane Track and Soccer Stadium on October 4th.
After over a week since their last match, Tulsa faced off against Temple this Sunday in Philadelphia. Coming into the game, the Golden Hurricane had lost their previous 2 conference matches against Rice and North Texas. For Temple, the Lady Owls only had 2 victories, with their last 2 games ending in a loss with a combined score of 0-10. Temple started the scoring out at the 17-minute mark, but Tulsa quickly answered with 2 goals of their own, coming from sophomore forward Leah Diaz and freshman forward Blaine Shute. Up 2-1 going into the second half, Temple would equalize in the 43rd minute off the foot of Temple's Shari Atkins. In the 56th minute, Blaine Shute scored her 2nd goal of the match and 8th goal of the season for the young freshman. The 3-2 victory secures Tulsa's first conference win of the season. Now sitting at 5-2 overall, Tulsa will face off against East Carolina at home on Thursday.
Tulsa entered American Conference play this weekend with 2 matches, an away match versus Alabama Birmingham and a home game against Temple. In their trip to Birmingham, Tulsa was out-hit by the Blazers, with the Golden Hurricane only hitting .184 with 55 kills and 22 errors, compared to UAB's 59 kills, 16 errors, and .253 hitting percentage. Despite the statistic discrepancy, Tulsa pulled out a 5-set victory against the Blazers, who were voted last in the American preseason poll. Tulsa's Tatum Tornado led the team with 15 kills, followed closely by midi hitter Tatiana Johnson, who totaled 11 kills. In their home game against Temple, Tulsa played a cleaner game, cutting their errors in half. At the end of their 3-set sweep of the Owls, Tulsa had 37 kills with 12 errors and a hitting percentage of .221. Tulsa is now 10-4 on the season and will face their first conference challenge in Rice, who are ranked number 1 in the American. Now, Joe, an up and down week in Tulsa sports, but for the football team, allowing, was it more than 40 unanswered points? Why don't you talk about that?
45, yeah. I mean, it's been just a completely depressing season. I'm a senior. I haven't seen a competitive team since my sophomore year, and that team was coached by Philip Montgomery. So all I have to say is, Kevin Wilson, do better. But luckily, we have some philanthropy coming up, and I think that'll up our spirits just a little bit.
Certainly will. Always better to help others than to lose by 40-odd points to North Texas.
Yes. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
This past weekend marked the end of a pair of philanthropy weeks for two of Tulsa's Greek organizations, with Kappa Alpha Order and Kappa Alpha Theta putting on a week-long events to raise money for their chosen philanthropies. Here's Kappa Alpha Order President Sapan Ashanai on their annual KA Car Wash.
This week has been a philanthropy week. Today we had our annual KA Car Wash. We support the Independence Fund, so all this money will go create these track chairs, are basically like electronic off-roading, like wheelchairs for the wounded veterans. Some other events we did this week, we had our annual dunk tank. We also had a barbecue, a cookout on Tuesday, and then also yesterday we had a beautiful movie night.
Saturday morning, Kappa Alpha Theta held their annual Kicking for Casa soccer tournament. Here is Philanthropy Chair Caitlin Kirchhoff on their successful philanthropy week.
I'm Caitlin Kirchhoff. I'm the Philanthropy Director for Kappa Alpha Theta. This is our annual Kicking for Casa tournament where we play 6v6 soccer in support of Tulsa CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates. It's been our philanthropy week this week, and we had a cats and dog dinner where Dog Father food truck came in and we had a bunch of shelter animals come, and it's been really fun.
The TU Men's Soccer Club took home the men's trophy, defeating fraternity Kappa Sigma via mercy rule. For TU TV, I'm Joe McCurdy.
And welcome back to the desk. Aristotle, you're getting a triple dip of Joe McCurdy today after my package, and now I'm doing the entertainment segment. So it's great to be on the desk with you.
It's great to be on the desk with you, Joe.
Well done.
And it's great to hear your voice 3 times in a row.
I know, right? Well, I think we're going to get ready and get, some entertainment started.
Please do.
All right. Fox's long-running animated classic, The Simpsons, premiered the first episode of its 36th season this past weekend, titled Bart's Birthday. The episode breaks the traditional format, opening with guest star Conan O'Brien issuing a statement describing the episode as the series finale. Numerous gags throughout the episode seem to support this claim, featuring callbacks to potential series-ending moments from years past, as well as references to sitcom finale genre tropes. While eventually played off as a prank by showrunners, it should be a foreshadowing premiere, as Fox has not yet renewed The Simpsons for season 37. Season 36 is a feature to numerous additional guest stars, as well as 2 Halloween episodes, including the 35th Treehouse of Horror special. The show will break tradition further by featuring 4 brand new episodes airing exclusively on Disney+. Although these are believed to be separate from the season 36 lineup.
The Teamsters Union, on behalf of casting directors, have tentatively agreed to a new deal with major film and TV studios this past Friday. The union was looking to set weekly minimum wage rates and settle basic pension terms, with negotiators emerging feeling positive about the deal. The casting union will meet this week to present the contract to members and ask for a ratification vote. Committee members emerged from talks happy and feeling that both sides were able to find solid middle ground during negotiations. Associate casting director and committee member Josh Ropaquet was quoted by Variety as stating, "We are unanimously recommending this contract," end quote. It was only a year ago that the lengthy writer's strike ended, while the actors' strike had continued until November of 2023. Negotiations with the Film and Television Producers Union has failed to reach similar results, leaving studios without a deal as the current contract expires on September 30th.
DreamWorks' animated movie The Wild Robot topped this weekend's box office with a $35 million debut domestically and another $18 million internationally. Based on a best-selling children's book by Peter Brown, the heartwarming film dethroned Beetlejuice, and Transformers 1 to take top spot according to reporting by ComScore, enhanced by whimsical trailers and an established reputation with young audiences. Starring Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o as the shipwrecked robot Roz, is expected to continue success as word of mouth and early reviews spread, with some already calling it a shoo-in for the Oscars Best Animated Feature Award. In the world of live action, Francis Ford Coppola's modern-day Roman epic Megalopolis tanked, with audience ranking in around $4 million on an estimated $120 million budget. Financed and distributed almost entirely by Coppola himself, the film stars Adam Driver, Nathalie Emmanuel, and Aubrey Plaza, and has received mixed to negative reception since its premiere at the Cannes Film Festival. The sci-fi fantasy epic serves as decades-old passion project for the acclaimed director, who has insisted that his motivation was not money or reception, but rather, quote, a grand personal statement about human possibility, end quote.
Last week, the TU History Club held their first event of the semester to spectacular turnout. Entitled, "Are You Smarter Than a History Professor?" the event featured a trivia competition in which teams of students competed against each other and TU's history professors to win a handful of gift card prizes. Crackers, sweets, and other snacks accompanied the game, which was held in Chapman Hall and saw a packed house with over a dozen teams of 2 to 4 students plus the professor teams. Much of the trivia consisted of multiple-choice Kahoot questions, but a handful of short-answer questions spiced up the game and proved particularly stumping to some players. Turnout was such that while some individuals ended up competing solo, large friend groups surrounded one device and worked together with collaborative discussion for each question. Further intensifying the competition were 5 of TU's professors who contributed further historical context for many of the questions, but at times stumped just as much of the students. While this event was organized by the History Club, it would not have been possible without the support from Dr. Bauer and the rest of the TU History Department, who provided the food and the space in Chapman. Many students were excited for the chance to compete against their current professors, providing for an entertaining evening celebrating the collaboration between fun and knowledge. Special thanks goes out to the History Club, along with Dr. Arnold, Dr. Lizardo, Dr. Summers, and the rest of the History Club is planning its yearly tarot card reading with Dr. Bauer and Dr. Summers.
Now, Aristotle, I've heard a lot about this Megalopolis movie. It's really sad that, it's doing so bad, but I'm really looking forward to Michael's review on it, hopefully. So.
I have not heard about this movie until today.
At all?
No,
really?
Not once.
You've obviously seen The Godfather, right?
No, I have not seen The Godfather.
This is not good. This is not good
Is it related to The Godfather?
No, it's not. It's just the same director as The Godfather.
Okay, right.
So it's this, there's this hype around this really high acclaimed director and this, decades-long movie, and it is not doing well. It is not doing well at all.
That's tragic.
It is very tragic.
But are you going to see it?
No, I'm not going to
see it. Okay, so you're not going to
contribute.
No,
if it didn't get as many bad reviews as it did, I probably would have gone out of, anticipation. But once I have the idea that this movie is bad, I will watch it as if the movie is bad. So,
right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have the same issue.
But Aristotle, it was fun having you on the desk, and we'll see you next time.
Today, Chef Ramsay visits the Pat Case Dining Center at the University of Tulsa. Thank you, darling. So, I've been sitting here for about 15 minutes and haven't been greeted by a waiter. Absolutely unacceptable.
Chef Ramsay, this is a cafeteria. You have to go up and get your own food.
That was my mistake. Let's try this again. So, here we have a steak dish. The piece I received is unbelievably wet and has the consistency of dog food, but the student sitting behind me, the meatloaf looks drier than a desert sponge. The chicken is raw, and they covered it up by layering it in a mountain of salt. The pizza is crap. I feel like I'm gnawing on an old rug. And don't even get me started on the vegetables. It tastes like they brought them out of a compost bin. Absolutely disgusting. No wonder they give you such small proportions here. Even they don't want to eat this shit. After being served a less than favorable lunch, Chef Ramsay's meets with the staff to discuss their cooking. What the f are you doing? Can you even cook? Bloody Goldie could prepare a better dish than you donkeys. Your food looks exactly like Gus T's head. It looks like shit. Who even let you use a stove? After yelling at the staff for 5 consecutive hours, Chef Ramsay's has made the executive decision to burn down the Pat Case Dining Center. Usually, I try to fix the restaurants I visit, but this dining center was unsalvageable and needed to be burned. What do you think about this, Goldie? Oh, Goldie, Goldie, goo! In the next episode of Kitchen Nightmares, Chef Ramsay will check out the Alan Chapman Student Union.
Never disappointed with those. Speaking of bad restaurants, let's talk bad musicals.
Okay, I'll give you the tea of the bad musicals I've seen. Firstly, I saw Aladdin here at Tulsa PAC the past couple months. Some of the changes were really good. Aladdin has 3 buddies. They were hilarious. They were the best actors in the entire show. They had all these little funny moments. I really enjoyed them. But there was no Abu the monkey, and the carpet was like not a character, which was very disappointing to me. Also, the girl that played Jasmine was really bad at singing.
Oh no!
She was like trying to sing in cursive or something. Like it was so bad. She was like, I can't remember the song. She's like, on a magic carpet ride. It was really bad. I did not enjoy her. So that musical kind of sucked. But, you know, I get it. The audience is children. And I'm not entirely a child. So that one was bad. I also saw Love Never Dies, which is the sequel to Phantom of the Opera. The music, baller. Yeah. The music's so good. The plot, terrible. The girl that played Christine, terrible. So that's my little review of some bad musicals.
That is tragic.
But I'm being silenced by the crew. The crew's not letting me continue to talk about musicals. So we're going to have to wrap it up for this week. But thanks for talking about musicals with me.
Come next time, and maybe we'll talk more musical theater.
On the couch.